who are my teachers? In a way, the question is like, who is not my teacher? There's just nothing outside of it. I've been stubborn about, I've been very clear that in this lifetime, it's not about following any one particular lineage, any one particular teacher for me in human form, right? And I've always just studied the book of my life like a really good student, like a really devoted student. Like what is happening, every part of the whole is a teacher to me. I consider life my greatest guru. I consider the land that made me my deepest teachers. Sanskrit, the language of my ancestors. And I've been blessed. I've been really deeply blessed. Along the path, the words of Yoganand Paramhans, the words of Krishna himself, the words of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, these are places where I first recognized myself. I opened a copy of I Am That one day walking down the street. I saw a book that said, I am that. And I said, well, I am that. What is this? What is this? Who are you? I opened the book. I read maybe like 2 sentences and I said, wow, this makes sense to me. This is it. I always knew. How lovely. Thank you. Didn't finish the book and I still haven't. Right? That's a teacher. He's a teacher to me. Not in body, but in spirit. Over the course of time, I recognized that, there was a whole rejiggering, a recalibration of my senses, of my perception, of my path and purpose, of relation. Everything in my life is reconfiguring. And things were coming online that I didn't know how to make sense of necessarily. And I knew that it was time to devote myself fully. And I was blessed by so many incredible teachers in human form. And I've been deeply influenced by the work of a lineage called Twisted Hair's lineage. The Twisted Hair's lineage is a lineage in America that weaves different Native American traditions. And it was in the sound of, I made a drum, right, with, I'm vegetarian, but I stretched the skin on this drum because I needed to make it with my hands and my prayers. And when I play my drum, it feels like the ancestors of my land and this land meet. And that sound is a teacher to me. Those who hold that lineage, Linda Cesara, Jesse Goldmark, these are people who are holding these traditions that are designed to empower us. They don't want any of my power. They don't want good Indian girl bow to the teacher, right? Bow at the feet of the guru. They don't want that. They're teaching me a whole other way of holding power with students, clients, teachers, right? My learnings as a good Indian obedient girl, right, who was taught to do what the teacher said, do what mom and dad said, and obey. It's been a process of decoupling those structures within me that outsource authority to something greater, to someone greater. And what I have been learning is how to come back to myself and own my own sovereign connection with source and life and my own inner authority above all else, while also recognizing the gift of that complete and utter surrender at the feet of wisdom that comes from anyone and everyone. Holding myself fully sovereign, fully self-responsible for my own spiritual destiny, while also being humble and able to receive the depths of that which are much greater than me. Both paradigms have their gifts and their shadows. If you outsource your authority to someone, they might very well abuse it. If you do not surrender to something greater, you will never be able to receive the grace that comes from that surrender. There's medicine, and it's hard to explain to Western mind why we kiss the feet of the Guru. People will travel miles and miles. People will walk up the mountain, my own dear father, carrying heavy loads up to the top of a mountain to pray. Why? It's all right here. It is all right here. Where is it not? But the process, the heart of devotion, the heart of surrender, right? Like these are the weavings that I've been curious about. These are the themes that are coming through, is like how to hold space with and for another, where there are places where I am so much farther along than someone to be able to usher them through their path, or I would not be in the seat. How to hold that lightly, how to not create this power dynamic that makes more than less than, or even equal to, still comparative mind. What am I surrendering to? And what am I surrendering as? That's the question. And if when I own my power, when I own my authority, what is owning authority? Because actually there is no difference, right? That's the deepest bow, in a way, is the same. It's the same thing. It's the movement of life towards life. It's the movement of grace towards grace. It's the movement of this separate, like entitled, like misguided self towards coherence, right? Knowing who I am, and knowing who I am in my individuality as well as unity. Right? It can't be otherwise. It has to have both.